We'll have to edit it. Yeah. Welcome, everyone, to the Total Football Show on a beautiful day in sunny Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Well, we are here, almost here. We've got one more day to go for the beautiful game to start in Mexico, USA, and Canada. And the beautiful game I'm talking about, the World Cup. It's finally here. And how are you feeling out there about the World Cup starting very soon? My name is Marcus Trevor Mc Intosh, and we all love football. I love football. In fact, I'm very passionate about football. And today I've got on the show a man of the soil, a son of the soil, as they say, in a man called Mr. Ron Benjamin. Hello, Ron. How you doing?
Fine, Greg. Definitely, thanks for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here to finally get a chance to talk some football with you guys. I know everyone is excited about the World Cup, so it's a great opportunity for us to discuss the game we all love, and all the things surrounding the World Cup.
Yeah. And my other guest that I've got here today is Mr. Kendall Mercury, and he's from the island of St. Vincent. And introduce yourself, Ken.
Good day to everyone. My name is Kendall Mercury, as Mr. McIntosh said. I am from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 32 Island and Keys. I'm a former senior men's national coach, senior women national coach, U20, and I'm currently the U17 men coach for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Oh, fantastic. So let's get into the meat of it. Football, or soccer, as they call it in North America, is the world's most popular sport, and the World Cup is the most prestigious prize of them all. For the first time in the tournament, in nearly 100 years' history, it will be jointly hosted by three countries: Mexico, Canada, and the United States. The opening match will be played in Mexico City on the 11th of June, and the final is in the US state of New Jersey on the 9th of July. For anyone new to the beautiful game, here's what you're going to need to know. The World Cup is staged every 4 years. The 2026 World Cup is the largest ever, with 48 countries competing. Using world rankings, the teams have been drawn into 12 groups of 4 countries. So, history has been made, and it's about to kick off tomorrow. We'll start with Ron. What is the team that you're gonna back in this World Cup?
Well, historically, I've always supported Brazil. Growing up, that was the team that my father supported. So, um, I carried on the tradition and always support Brazil, despite whatever happens or how they look throughout the year.
Yeah,
Once the World Cup comes around, that is always my team. But I mean, this year is an exception. I would say there are teams that are great to look at because they play an exciting brand of football. You look at Senegal. Senegal is playing some great football with Sadio Mane and company. Um, Ivory Coast is always great to look at. Again, they're a solid team. They have some great. Most of their players are based in France. I mean, there are teams that I like to watch.
right.
But in terms of supporting, traditionally, I've always supported Brazil. But again, this year, the African teams have a special place in my heart. So I'll start rooting for them a little bit deeply. I mean, even the Republic of Congo, they're an interesting team also. I mean, they made it this year throughout the trials and tribulation that they had. So I'll root for them. Then you have Ecuador. Ecuador is a solid team. I like how they play. They're very compact. They play great defensive football. They're not an exciting team to watch offensively, but they play great fundamental football. So these are the teams that I'll be keeping my eye on throughout the competition, and I'll be rooting for.
Oh, fantastic. And you, Mercury?
Well, traditionally, when I was younger, me and my friends, when I say friends, a footballing group that we played with, we normally go to local shop. This guy who runs the shop was like a big player, to use the local word, in football in our community. So we'll gather at his shop and we'll watch the games and cook and enjoy ourselves. And
Right.
we were always, most people were Brazil. So I grew up around these guys, more Brazilian fans, the senior footballers. But
Yeah.
then when I got into coaching, my perspective of football changed. I was no longer just a kid looking at the game and being hyped about it. So I
Okay.
started to look at the game from a coach's eyes. So by that time, I don't have a favorite team, not even in club soccer or football.
Okay.
So what I do, I use
So you're
the World
you're
Cup
the one.
is
You know what that is. You know what that is, eh, Ron? That's
nah,
one
the
of them
World
ones. That's one of them ones who sits on the fence, eh? And and
No, I'm not
and
on the I'm not on
eh,
the fence.
eh,
I'm
and
sitting on the book.
whoever
Nah,
wins, he pulls out a shirt.
well, I know the analogy, but strangely, I don't even wear club shirts or national shirts. It
Okay.
don't.
Okay.
So World Cup for me is education. It's I'm going to sit, watch the games like I
Yeah.
did last World Cup with my book and my pad and take notes from a coaching perspective. Look at new trends. How could I
Yeah.
use this to do this with my team? How would I approach? So when I watch games, I watch it in a way where I am in the game as one of the coaches. So say I'm back in Brazil, Brazil playing Colombia. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
okay, what would the Colombian coach do? And if it was I am Antelope right now, what would I do if things are not working? So that's how I see
Hey.
the two games.
Hey, Mercs, stick a
Yes, sir.
pin there. Ask Ron what country he's living in. Hey,
Great. I
So,
mean,
Ron,
Ron.
where you living right now?
I'm currently living in the country that you just mentioned. I'm a proud supporter of the Colombian national team. I have my shirt right here. I can pull it out. Let me pull it out so you can see it. I have my official Colombian shirt already for the celebration because it's like
So
part of
that's
the
great.
tradition. Part of the
Right.
Yeah.
tradition. So I
Yeah.
have my. What if you guys can see?
So I get where you're coming from, mate. I understand. Well, judging by what I'm wearing, I think I've given it away. Eh? I'm gonna stick with my roots. So
Mm,
I'm gonna back any African team, you know.
right.
But for my European team, I think I may go with either France, but I think that I'm gonna put my neck out there and and I'm gonna go with the nearly men of Europe. I think they might just do it this year with Holland. I'm gonna go
Wow,
for Holland. Yeah.
that's
Okay.
If it's not France, I'm gonna go with Holland. Um, South America. Um, although deep in my heart, as you guys mentioned before, Brazil has always been in our hearts,
right.
and you probably would find that with most people in the Caribbean. You know that Brazil will be the closest team to their hearts, and I think it's just in tradition or in culture. You know that we're. But let's not also forget that we have two countries from the Caribbean. That's in the World Cup. Haiti and Curacao. And I think what they're the two smallest in the tournament, uh, along with Iceland.
Yeah,
Yeah,
by
Yeah,
population, they are the smallest countries.
by,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
by population. That's correct.
yeah. So I think that's going to be quite exciting to see how they do in the tournament. I think they might, and a couple of the North African countries. I think they might cause some trouble. Algeria, Morocco. As we know, 4 years ago, Morocco got to the semi-final. Let's hope one of the African countries can improve on that.
Yeah, I mean that would be definitely great because I mean, coming back to what you were saying about supporting Brazil, I think a lot of the people who in the Caribbean began supporting Brazil was because of Pele and seeing black players play
Yes,
football. So I think that was the
played.
introduction um, for a lot of people that because if you look at European football, I mean, there back then there were very few people who looked like us, right? So it was a great opportunity when the World Cup come around, and you can see black people like you performing at the highest level, um, and that kind of created a movement I think throughout the Caribbean, where a lot of people traditionally, like I said, growing up, my father was always Brazil, talking about Socrates and Pele and all the great players that were in that 1970 squad coming up. So these are the traditions that I think most of us grew up with.
Yeah,
So it's
man.
great,
Yeah,
like you said, to see another African country. I mean, it's been a couple of years since Cameroon. Roger Miller came on the scene and really created a sensation. It would be great if
sure.
we
Yeah,
could see another African team, doing something extraordinary like that.
that'd be great. That'd be great. I remember when I was living in London and we were all going to school, and I remember a couple of them English guys when World Cup come along, and I see them wearing Brazil shirts. Yeah, yeah. I remember seeing a couple of the guys coming to school with their Brazil shirts, and I was, what? Hey, how does that work? But then you
Yeah,
realize, then the white guy said to me, "Look, people of our color live in Brazil too."
yeah.
True, true.
Yeah,
And then it
traditional,
dawned
that's,
on
that's
me.
where it came from. We
Yes,
follow the culture and the color and the movement.
yeah,
And
yeah,
let how people migrated that way as well. So I think so
yeah.
that's where the culture connection is.
Right.
But from my
Uh,
my side, when I look when I look at teams, I tend to, let's say, from my coach's eye and intuition, I look at the
yeah,
players who are doing well at club, and I'm like, can they make that transition to the national stage? So, for
yeah,
example, this year we had Barcelona doing okay in the league. Then we
yeah,
had you know Champion League with Arsenal and PSG.
yeah,
So these French players, can they make the transition to the French team? These Spanish players, can they make the transition into the Spanish team? Can they replicate their success at club level with their national team? So
yeah,
rightfully so, we have to look out for the French, the Germans, um, English, Spanish, you know, that kind of thing.
yeah,
Then, as you say, the African countries like Morocco, Senegal, who got to the African Cup of Nations final. Colombia has been doing some. I think they have improved a lot over some time. So yeah, yeah, it makes an interesting World Cup with the 48 teams. I can say that. Then, from our perspective, when I say our, me and Marcus, we are in CONCACAF.
yeah,
How do our two teams, our two countries, now measure up to football, as we may say, at a higher level now? Because they're actually gonna be playing opponents at a top level, at a higher level. So the measurement, where would their representation be in relation
yeah,
to CONCACAF versus CAF? versus UEFA versus Oceania versus Asia. So that's how I kind of look at it.
Yeah, I mean
Oh,
that's
brilliant.
super interesting, Coach. I mean, something that you mentioned earlier that I found super interesting is analyzing the player performance in the league and seeing him transition into the national squad. And can you bring that same performance? And a lot of the challenges with players when they move from club football to national team football is the number of games and the chemistry.
Yes.
That's the challenge. In the league, most leagues you play 38 games or more. Whereas on the national stage, you may only be together for 3 or 4 weeks here and there, and then you go back to your club or whatever it is that you're doing off football for the national team. So it's more challenging, I think, when players have to make that transition because you spend less time together as a team. So just building the chemistry is just an important part. B, understanding the tactical difference because you know you're playing a different style. Most teams they might play a different formation coming from national to the club. So you as a player, you may have a different role. Okay, you might be playing a right back on your club team, and then they might say, okay, you might be on playing in the midfield now. So it's a
Yes, that's
transition for a lot of players. You see players playing in different roles when they make the transition to the national team because then you have more talent.
Yeah.
So
that.
it's it's
Yeah,
it,
of course.
yeah, it's challenging for I think players. I think we kind of expect them to replicate the same thing that they do in the league. But remember, they have a preseason. They're playing 38 games. They're training 3 or 4 times a week. Whereas when they get together for the national, it's pretty much 2 or 3 weeks here and there. They play a couple of friendlies, then they go back to their club. So I think it's tougher for these guys, and you have to be a little bit more experienced, veteran experience. I think that's why you see a lot of the national teams are keeping older players who have that chemistry and can keep the team together and can teach the younger players that come in the national team kind of like how what the system is, where you should be in terms of the tactics, and kind of keep the culture, that national culture team. When I say culture, I don't mean the craft or the arts and craft, but I mean the culture and the style of play and the personality of the team as a whole. So I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned that. So I think these are the things that is definitely going to be interesting to watch.
Oh, great,
Yeah,
great.
I
Yeah.
I now that you mentioned the comparison, which is brilliant, and your analogy is an analysis is correct. I remember one coach said for him winning the World Cup is about who you can select that can live together as a family for 1 month.
Very true. Very, very true. Because everybody has a different what could I say? Everybody needs their space,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know? And because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We might have a group that we're going to get on with, and some of us after 2 days, we can't stand them anymore.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, no? But we're gonna go for a little break, and we'll come straight back into it. Right. Welcome back to the Total Football Show, Grenada, Carriacou, and Pity Martinique. And if you don't know where we are, it's a beautiful part of the world. But anyway, yeah, we were just discussing about who our teams were and who we think is going to win. But we've also got to realize also that this World Cup might be the last World Cup for a few of these players. And I think we know who they are, the Messis, the Ronaldos, and they, and who else? Modric. We
More,
could, there's probably a few. I don't know if you guys can elaborate more on who it might be the last World Cup for, but those names have been around for a long time in the world. It feels like eternity. Modric is what now? 40?
yeah, I mean, you
He's,
have can you have Neymar also?
yeah, Neymar. Yeah, yeah,
Can you have Kevin De
yeah.
Bruyne?
Yep. Keep going. There is
So
a
that's
few.
who I can think of just quickly off the top of my head. I mean, those are the standout names that I think most of the fans will probably know off the top. So these, I mean, yeah. So I think for the premier ones, the Ronaldos and the Messis, I think it'll be emotional for them and for the fans of Portugal and of Argentina because this might be the last time you get to see these guys on such a grand scale, on a grand stage. So I think it will be something that I think a lot of fans, if you grew up or if you were always watching these people transition and develop, and now you get a chance to see them ultimately, I think it'll be an emotional experience for a lot of people knowing that this is their farewell, and we might never see them again. Some of the greatest footballers, whoever graced the pitch.
Yeah, it
Right.
would be, as usual, very emotional to see the stalwarts and the senior players who are going to play the last World Cup and battle for the last time in this battlefield. And the World Cup is always joy, and the opposite end, who is gonna
Yeah.
light up the stage as a new player. But I I agree with you guys. It's gonna be special for a lot of football fans because these two names, Messi and Ronaldo, has dominated these games for decades.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this this is gonna be their final stage. So it's gonna be very emotional for them and the fans and their supporters.
Yeah. It's going to be, as you said, very, very emotional for them, and especially the as you said, the fans, the spectators, and I I'm looking forward to see how they're going to actually perform. I saw something in an article the other day. Would with with Ronaldo out of the Portuguese team, will they perform better in this World Cup? But how do you leave him out?
Right.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
do you leave him
Yeah,
out?
you need character like this, as my friend said, because they're not just players. They like magnet. They hold the team. They pull the team. The energy they bring in the dressing room and training. It's
Yeah.
it's all different.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so do you think that's what? Okay, so Neymar has got a calf injury. Do you think that is part of the reason why he's in the Brazil team, as you just mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these players. I mean, national teams have a certain, how I should put it, historic significance in a lot of these countries. Um,
Yeah,
and I live in Colombia now, like I told you. And James, he's called James here, but you guys might know him as James Rodriguez. I
yes,
mean, he
Because
is he's an older player, right? And he's definitely not the player he was when he was at Real and all the other clubs that he played for. But because of the historic significance, and like the coach alluded to, because of his personality, both in the dressing room and also his national appeal. So putting together a team is I mean, for a national representation, it's not just about how the guy is performing, but it's more about nationally how is his appeal and do fans still want to see him, and does he have the ability to perform? So it's not just a case of again, I'm going to just pick the best players because there are tons of young players who would have been chosen. I mean, they could have chose Kijao Pedro instead of Neymar, but they decided to go with Neymar because of the historical significance of Neymar. Neymar is a mega star in Brazil. I mean, despite he's 30 plus in his mid to late 30s, but he's still
Yeah.
nationally recognized as one of the elite footballers, even though sometimes he doesn't bring that consistently because of medical issues. So again, a lot of these guys are on the team not just because of their pure performance, but because of the national energy these guys have, and fans want to see these guys coming back to James Rodriguez. He's the same thing here. People are saying, well, why is he on the team this year? You could have, gone with a younger player. I mean, he's playing further back instead of playing as a number 10 now. He's playing more of like a midfielder, basically, an attacking midfielder. So yeah, I mean, it's just the national appeal of some players like a Ronaldo. You can't leave Ronaldo out Portugal. Like you just can't.
No, you can't. You
Same with
can't.
Messi.
No.
You just can't. You just as long as they're available, they'll be on the team sheet. Like
Yeah.
whoever's
Yeah.
coaching the team, like as long as they're physically able to walk, they will be on
Yeah.
the team sheet.
Yeah. Could
Yeah,
you
so
imagine could you imagine all these fans that have come to see them perform?
Again,
I
yeah,
was
You
gonna
know,
say
just
that.
to see them.
I was gonna
And
You
say
know,
that.
that's
I saw an example of it where Neymar stepped off of the coach, and there were people screaming and crying just to see the guy, and all he did was just wave, and they were going whole hysterical. You know?
yeah, that's the effect. That's the
Oh,
effect these mega stars have. I mean, football is entertainment. I mean, we have to come back to the core of it. Sports is entertainment, and you're an entertainer, and people
yeah,
want to see you perform. It's like a classic singer. It doesn't matter how old you get. Once you have a couple of hit songs, you can always go on tour, and people are going to come
Yes,
out to see you.
yes. People
yeah.
are gonna come out and see you. Yeah,
You know?
it's come down to that where great managerial skills are. I'm thinking because when it put put it, put myself in Ancelotti's shoes, what would I do if Neymar is injured? Is it he's 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 injured that bad that he's not gonna give us nothing at the tournament, or maybe he'll miss 1, 2 games and then he's good. So you
Yeah,
make that calculated. Um, you have to make
I think.
the decision, and you must have him in there if there's a
Yeah,
chance from the medical staff that he's gonna play um somewhere along the line because he brings
I
that
think.
great national pride experience, and also if we get the Neymar that we know he can be, he would unlock some tight defense because we know going into this World Cup is gonna be a lot of mid block and low block playing.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think if Ancelotti get the chance, he'd probably wheel him out on a wheelchair, man, just to keep the fans happy.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
of course. I mean, you saw the
Uh,
reaction as you said at the
yeah.
coach when he stepped off. I saw the same thing, but I
Yeah.
saw when the team was announced
Yeah.
and at the we call it watch party, and when he said Neymar Junior,
Oh my word.
said it.
Even I had a smile on my face.
The
You
place
know.
just erupted into total euphoria, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm actually looking forward for the kickoff. You know, but also we've got to also get into the point of, talk about two of the teams that have come from the Caribbean.
Yeah,
And
our region.
you know,
Yes, of course.
when we think about those two teams, we think about a team like Haiti, for instance, and what's happening in their country, and yet to still make a World Cup. Do you know what that does for that country with all the turbulence that is going on there? And to see their team in a World Cup, I feel the joy, you know.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic to see them there. And the players, they look so happy. I saw an interview with the captain today, and he's pinching himself to see that to see that he's actually in a World Cup.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a sensational story again, and it comes down to why people love the World Cup because you have all these stories of people defying the odds. A small country like Haiti, impoverished, but still, the players have enough fortitude and pride to go out there and represent their country. And it doesn't matter where you come from in the world; everyone is proud of their home and their country. So that's what you're seeing being displayed, and it's a great story for sports as a whole, and that's what it's about. It's about bringing us together. It's about the best representation of ourselves. It's about showcasing our desire, our ability, but more importantly, it's about representing who we are as a person and who we are as a community. So it's a great story for Haiti and the
Yeah,
Caribbean.
yeah. It
Yeah,
brings so much joy. Brings so much joy to all of us in the Caribbean. You know.
I, I, had-
Well,
I had, sorry, Marcus, go on.
go on.
I had said that when the final legs were being played, I say to a couple of friends of mine, I say, the good thing about the increase in numbers, we're going to have two Caribbean teams at the World Cup, no matter who wins or qualify.
Right.
And
Yeah,
when the groups were put together in our region, I'm like, okay, we're gonna definitely get two teams from the CFU there. And then it
yeah,
turned out to be Haiti and Curacao.
yeah.
Um,
And
the
even
the Haitian people, as we know from back when they gained their independence, it goes right back to that mentality of the Haitian people.
yeah, uh,
Yeah.
you know. And let's not forget the smallest island in the tournament, or the smallest country, as they say, Curacao. And what an achievement for them!
Yeah. Yeah. I
What
mean,
an achievement!
yeah. I mean,
You know.
I'm proud of them, but I give Haiti a little more in terms of how they were able to accomplish because I mean Curacao is part of the Netherlands, so they
Yeah,
have a lot of access to resources. Coaches who coach in the Netherlands come down to Curacao. Some of the players who represent Curacao were actually born in the Netherlands.
yeah,
So it's kind of so it's an easier story for them. I'm proud of them, yes, but I think they have more in terms of resources. Um, than a Haiti has. So I'm extremely proud of Curacao, but I think Haiti had to overcome way more in terms of just resources and just being able to put together a team and train and get together
yeah,
as a national representative of Haiti. But still, I take nothing away from Curacao. It's a Cinderella story again, a small
yeah.
island making it
And,
to the largest football stage in the world.
and what we also got to realize about Haiti is that they couldn't even train in their own country.
No,
This is what I'm saying again.
home away from home. That's why he's
Yeah,
alluding to he give them more respect. I
Yeah, we had a harder road, a way harder road
yes,
than
of course.
Cincinnati.
Um, think about it. I mean, it's a sad story, but think about how many footballers lost their life in the current situation in Haiti, young and whether
Yeah,
you're a youth player, mature player, a female or male.
yeah,
It's really, you see, really, as we're saying, it's a story to just touch your core. Uh,
yeah.
with the
yeah,
Fantastic.
Curacao situation, I'm gonna use an example to bring it home to us and the audience, right?
Yeah,
In 2009, I became the U20 coach for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Men, that was my first full-time job as the head coach. I had worked with the U17s, but I was an assistant. We went to Curacao for that tournament. I was St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Curacao, and St. Kitts in
Yeah.
a three-way tournament. And the top spot is going to come out to go to the next round. We drew with Curacao 1-1 in Curacao. I remember when we had a training session, at the time we were playing 1-3-5-2. We had a training session. When we went to the training session, the Curacao team was still training. So they were taking up a bit of our time, and I said to the manager, look, you need to get them off the pitch. But to get to the story, that is 2009. St. Vincent and the Grenadines drew with Curacao 0-0.
Right.
2026, Curacao is at the World Cup, and we are nowhere close. Yes, we have to factor in everything because they have the Netherlands, they can pull the professionals. But I goes to say they had a proper plan going into
They
this.
did.
Yes,
They did. Yeah.
and that's the difference.
Because, yeah, I had the opportunity to speak to an old player called Reggie Blinker. I don't know if you guys remember Reggie Blinker, but I spoke to him yesterday, and he told me all about the restructuring that Curacao went through from the top of the association right down to who they brought in to restructure football in Curacao. You know, and that's their result. That's where they are
Yes,
because of what they've done to get
Yeah.
where they are.
Kevin, you and I talk about this every day. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, no success comes without strategic planning and without having foundations in place. And it's not by accident when you see these results. It's because you have to have a strategic plan. Every elite football association in the world has structured annual plans of how they're trying to move forward, how they're trying to move up the FIFA rankings, how they're trying to develop youth, how they're trying to basically move consistently to develop the product that you see on the field. And I think a lot of the challenges in the smaller Caribbean is that we think that getting together every year and picking some players and training them for a couple of months and getting them ready for a tournament um, translates into development of football. That's not how it's done. Okay, that does not work. You can't just put together players and say, okay, we have an FA, we're just picking players every year from the national club competitions, and that is going to develop the product as a whole. It's like anything. If you're building a car or if you have a car company, you have to start at the top and say, okay, who is going to be the CEO? Who is going to be the CFO? What is our plan? What type of cars are we going to build? How are we going to build the cars? What is the factory going to look like? So you have to take the same type of strategic approach from any product and transplant that now into sports, specifically into football. And then you will start seeing the results. And then you must be able to evaluate that. You must be able to say, okay, what our weaknesses are. Okay, are we developing our 13 to 17-year-old players adequately? Do we need to have an academy? Okay, where are our weaknesses? Do the players lack the technical abilities to compete against the elite players? Do we have the coaches who can train them, who can give them the knowledge that they need in the technical execution of the game? So these are the things that FAs in the Caribbean oftentimes lack. They don't have that analytic, strategic approach to the development of football as a product. They see it as sports, and you pick guys and they get together and they go play, and next year you pick another bunch of players, and somewhere along the line you'll succeed. That is not how it's done.
it's not going to happen like that. Yeah,
No, no. You know, so it was very good to have a conversation with Reggie yesterday, and he told me all the structures they had to do, create new formats of leagues on the island, right down to even down to under eights, they had going. To get to where they are. Yes, the players all came from, well, not all of them, I would say, came from Holland. There were a few of them that were born there, But it's just the way they went about the aggressiveness of their restructuring on within their FA. The guy that is actually the president of the FA is someone that worked in the corporate side of business, where he worked in health, So he saw a way of coming into the football and restructuring it, and that's what sometimes that we tend to lack, is seeing that vision and then getting a group of people to understand your vision, and then they now could execute your vision. And that's a prime example of what they have done.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. This guy is a hospital administrator at the corporate level. Just imagine what it takes to run a hospital, a busy hospital, a big hospital, where the consequences of not so good decision, not so workable plan, and the proper people, human resources in place is death, possible death.
Yep.
So when you get someone like that coming into the football environment, it's a big plus.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the kind of mentality you have to bring into any type of FA. You need to bring people who have great human resources in terms of being able to organize people, being able to evaluate talent, being able to build systems that would develop talent. So these are the key skills that you need to build strong FAs. I think a lot of the challenge for some of the Caribbean countries is that we typically put people into FAs or sports because they were a former sportsman. Or this guy was a footballer, so we bring him into the FA. This guy was a track athlete, so we bring him to run, some type of athletic program. But what you find in most of these successful FAs and these successful football clubs on a national level, the people who are running these organizations are coming from corporate business, um, industrial backgrounds, because they need that kind of managerial experience, because you're managing people. And if you can't manage people effectively, how are you going to develop the product on the field? If you can't manage coaches and evaluate which coaches are performing better and training your team better, it just won't work.
In our region, especially in the CFU region, our people around football, our affiliates have this form of a better saying, "Oh, he never played the game." So if you're gonna be like the president of a MA, as we are talking about somebody who have great corporate background, and and like, oh, but he never played, so how you expect to be our president? So we just don't. Some of us don't get it.
Yeah. Well, you just have to look at the majority of countries that are in that World Cup now. And that's what they've done, But anyway, we're going to take another break and come back for the last segment. And it'd be interesting. We will talk about what is going on in America in terms of visas and all the other stuff that's going on, with the referee that was denied entry into the World Cup. So we return soon. Well, welcome back to the Total Football Show, sponsored by Bryden and Miners. So we're back on the road again. So someone sent a question in to you guys, and it is, which country is going to be the dark horse in the World Cup?
That's a great question. Dark horse meaning a country that no one is expecting to.
That's right.
Um, Interesting question. I think my opinion, I would say Senegal could be a dark horse. That I mean, they could surprise a lot of people in terms of expectation based on their previous performance. So I would say they are my pick. If I was to pick a team that no one is talking about that potentially could
Yeah.
could just kind of have a surprise performance.
Yeah. I even think Cote d'Ivoire might be a dark horse too.
Yeah.
You know. So and Merckx, who do you think?
I think one of the African nation, to be honest. So it may be the same Cote d'Ivoire. I'm also gonna put some money on Haiti based on their mentality.
Yeah. Yeah. But we also don't forget Cape Verde.
Oh
They
yeah.
made it to the for
Right.
what
Yeah,
they've achieved is absolutely fantastic.
fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic for a country that's not too many people, and most of their players actually come from Cape Verde, which is a massive achievement. Yet again, proper structure,
Yes.
you know. But so how do we start this now? Infantino talked about of I'm trying to find the way of of explaining what's going on at the moment. He gave
We all
Trump,
know it's a big mess.
uh,
Um, and the referee, I would like to kick it off by starting talking
yeah,
about the referee. Um, his name slips me right now, but even last night I read like three different articles on what took place, and I'm like, I know the World Cup is a gigantic event to organize. It takes, like we said, planning and from years. But I'm like in my head, not knowing all of the facts, but what we have gotten so far is this is how I see it as a coach and a fan of the game. From the
yeah,
time US banned Somalians from entering the USA, FIFA should have acted to have this guy assignment change to either Canada or Mexico. That's how I see it.
yep, yep.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think it's
yeah. I think it kind of takes away from the game that we're talking about a referee who has been denied access, um, basically to do his job, just based on the criteria that he is Somalian. Um, I mean, it kind of like speaks to a lot of the things that sports is not. I
Yes,
think there is a time for
exactly.
politics, and there is a time when we put aside political differences, and we look at what is best for humanity. Um, even in Nazi Germany in 1939, Hitler, you know, didn't have any restrictions for any athletes entering the country. That was
no,
something I was surprised to realize. And
no,
here today, we're picking people's nationality and say, okay, because we're banning specific people, you coming in as a professional with all the required documents, and we're still denying you.
Yeah,
Again, I blame poor organization for this because if you having a magnitude one major event like this, you should liaise with the Department of Homeland Security and say these are the list of people. This gentleman is Somalian. Tell us ahead of time, can he enter the country, or like the coach alluded to just now, reassign him to Canada or Mexico based on the determination. So I blame FIFA because I think FIFA
Yep.
should presented all the delegates prior, their nationalities, and have them vetted by Homeland Security or U.S. Customs, and say, okay, these guys could come, this guy can't come, this guy could come, so then you could make the necessary adjustments.
Yep.
I agree
Yep.
with you, hundred
You know,
percent. I love your comparison. It's brilliant with Germany versus what's happening presently in US
yeah,
soil.
yeah,
Because we we
because
we know sports is supposed to bring people together where there's differences.
Exactly. That's the point. That's why we love the two events bring people together globally. World Cup and the Olympics. This is the only thing that we as a species have on this planet that we that we call our home, that brings us together every 4 years to celebrate humanity. And that's why people should see this. It's not about politics, but it's about humanity. And some people don't see it like that, and that's why we here discussing issues like this.
yeah. Well, look. I'm trying to think what team it was or what country they had, where they were they were searching the guys on the tarmac
Yeah,
just as they got
Senegal
off
and
the plane.
Uzbekistan. Yeah, Senegal and Uzbekistan. They
Yeah,
subject them to invasive searches, and like these are professional athletes. They're coming to represent their country. They're not coming to look for American jobs. They're not bringing in firearms.
no,
What is the point? It's more about, I would say it's about the optics. It's about
yep,
what we call flexing. Like you have the power to do something, so you want to show people I have the power, so I will show you what I can do with my power. It doesn't
yeah,
solve anything.
no, no. I even heard that one player. I'm not too sure which country he was from. That he was kept back for nearly 7, 8 hours because they're saying he didn't have the right visa, and where his country got him a diplomatic visa so he can go anywhere. They had to do that for the guy to enter the country.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's wrong.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's
it's a bit
wrong.
of a there is some mess
Yeah.
that as the global game a lot of people are not happy with because
No,
a lot of
even the
fans
even
a lot of fans from these country bought tickets and now they can't enter to watch the game.
no. Yeah.
yeah.
And then when you get there, it's the expense of how much they've put everything up. I
Yeah,
saw a train.
they really took advantage of the situation.
Yeah, I saw a train ride that used to cost $20 is now $100.
That's capitalism. That's what they say. It's for profit. You know,
Yeah,
um,
Supply and demand.
it's the
It
simple
is
thing.
in demand.
Historically, you know,
Yeah.
because
I
I don't understand that same train ride from New Jersey to the from New York to New Jersey, where the actual stadium is. Normally, that's about $12 or $13 ride one way, but they
right.
claim due to the increased demand and people, and it's going to be crowded and sporting event, and they need extra security, and they came up with a bunch of justifications why that now has to be $125. The same ride that was $13 is now $125 because they claim they need additional resources to service the same
but
route.
who you think should pay for that?
Well, these are all the things that when you decide to host a major event like,
Host. These
you
are the
should,
things that must be discussed.
these are the things that have to be discussed. You have to
Yeah.
discuss infrastructure as a key part of hosting these events. And if you say, okay, yes, we can host the event, you should have an idea. Okay, what are the prices of the tickets? What is there going to be additional transport costs? Because it's about the marketing of the game as the people's game. Football is
Yes,
called the people's game.
people's game.
Now it's no longer the people's game. It's
Well,
those who can afford this game.
it's no longer the people's game around the normal fans and fanatic. It's this World Cup was put it beyond the normal fans and fanatic of football.
Yeah.
They put it more in a kind of better term, a kind of elite group.
Yeah.
I was planning to go to Canada to watch some games. I had friends who said, "Look, come up and we'll go to some games." And those people called me up a couple months ago and say, "Hey, Marky, we're not going. It's too expensive."
Yeah,
They're like, "You can still come to Canada and we'll go at some of the bars and watch the game, but we can't do it. We can't buy the tickets when we have to measure other things in our household. We can't."
No.
I mean, that's a sad part about it. Is that the average fan, the average family, you want them to be able to come out and enjoy football with the kids. I mean, that's what the game is about. And now
Yes.
because of
the people who've been filling the stadiums all the time in club games and at your national games and your friendlies,
Yeah. Oh, well, it's well. Let's hope from tomorrow that we could be talking about something different next week. We'll be talking about the game between Mexico and South America, and I'd like to know what your prediction is going to be for tomorrow and why.
First games are always, I mean, I never make any predictions for the opening games because, again, teams are filling each other out the first couple of games. So you don't know how the other team is going to play. You don't know their formation. You don't understand really what their tactics are. So a lot of coaches, the first two games are kind of like filling out how we're going to play against different teams. So it's kind of hard to predict because you might have a team who might do horribly in their first two games, and then you see they go on a run. I mean, every World Cup you always hear teams start off badly, and then they go on and they win 4 or 5 games because it takes about 3 games before you figure out, okay, what's the best formation. Style of play is different from team to team, so it takes about 3 or so games. So, I mean, I wouldn't go out and make any predictions for the first game, basically the first 3 games.
Argentina was your prime example.
Exactly.
World Cup, yes.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, it's a tournament where you have to figure it out as you go along. I mean, because it's not like club football where you playing the same guys twice and you have tape on them because you played them last season and you know what they're going to do. So you kind of prepare. It's kind of like you have to feel it out as you go along.
Yeah. So what do you think, Merck?
Well,
I'm
like him, but I'm gonna give the edge to the Mexicans because they're at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that reason, I'm gonna give them the edge. We know the people bring a lot of energy and they're gonna ride on this the support for us. My friend said it's basically you're feeling out in the first couple of games. He's spot on with his analysis.
Well, I have to say there'll be a lot of Saffers in the crowd. There'll be a lot of Saffers in the crowd. Trust me, there's a lot of them living in the States. And I think South Africa itself might be empty.
Yeah. Diehard supporters. I mean, there will be every South African will definitely be rooting. I mean, I have neighbors who are South African, and I know how when the World Cup comes around, they are like the heavies of supporters that you could ever find.
Whether it's football, whether it's cricket, whether it's rugby.
Yeah, they're rugby.
They're going to be their numbers. You know. Well, here's where we got to end the show. And I thank you both for coming on the show. And I thank my engineer for producing the show. And he was asking me if you guys can come on the show next week again, because you've done such a great job. And I say that you should come every week because it's been very, very good, very good.
Okay.
You know. But thank you both again, and thank you to the audience, and thank you for the people that were watching. And I hope it's a very, very good game that we all can enjoy tomorrow night. Well, it will be kickoff is what, 3 o'clock our time tomorrow in this region.
I'm not even too sure, but I think it's around 3.
3 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you both again, and hopefully next week we'll have someone in the studio with me to bounce off certain things, and hopefully we could have you both again. It was very enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Definitely
Thank you.
likewise.
Yeah. And thank you again to our sponsors, Bryden and Miners. And I hope we could have next week, we could have something about the drinks that they're wanting to promote, and some other stuff that we could hang up in there to promote this promotion properly. But thank you again for this lovely, great show.
My shirt.
Yeah, Colombia.
Yeah. No, have you noticed that I didn't even speak about England?
Have we noticed?
Have you noticed I didn't speak about England's chances? We'll do that next week.
Oh,
Next
okay.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that next week because they've still got one more friendly to play.
Yes, they have one more friend to play.
Yeah, and we could go more in depth in what we think of how they're going to go about it. But thank you again, guys.
All right.
Bye. Bye.
That was cool. It was